there's a couple things that if you post, if you say,
if you type it, if you tell me through this feed, I'm not gonna do, but maybe there'll be something else. We did all this other cool stuff last week. We made a chef's knife, a sax, and a hunting knife. I'll finish those later. I have another idea today. I don't know what that idea is. So if you're over here on Instagram, go follow us on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, go follow us on YouTube. We're on my YouTube channel. Subscribe, leave a comment, and that's about it. So I know what I think I want to do today. I have this image of making a... Somebody tell me what I'm designing with my hands. For whoever's on there, it's like, it would look like this. It has like two pieces like this, and then it has a handle like this. Put this on. Hold it like that, not like this. What is it? What is that? No answers?
I'm not paying attention to you.
No, I'm asking everybody out there to tell me.
He says.
All right, thanks, Heath. He said dagger. You guys missed out, so let's make a dagger. Anybody want to see a dagger? We'll take this, turn and do a forging of a dagger. Does that sound good to y'all? This might not be big enough, but I'll use it anyway. So, I got that Pharrell Williams song going through my head. That's a good song. Oh man, I didn't like that beginning. We gotta change that one. I gotta turn that off and start again. That was just not powerful enough. That was a weak ass forge lighting right there. I don't care for that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I'm gonna restart. I like better pyrotechnics. I wonder if it'll.
Before you start, County Line Forge donated $10 and said, looking forward to meeting you in a couple weeks in North Carolina.
Yeah, man, we're gonna have fun. Smoky Mountain, the Great Smoky Mountain Hammer-In, Bladesmithing Symposium. It is in Waynesville, North Carolina at Clyde Community College. It is put on by the American Bladesmith Society. It is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which I believe is the 20th, the 21st, and 22nd. On Friday morning, I'll be demonstrating forging a kukri. I'm probably sure I'm going to grind it. I'm not going to let somebody else heat treat it either, unless it's Scott McGee or somebody who can actually. I'm not getting into that. Anyway, I'll be there, so you guys come. It'll be great. Waynesville, North Carolina is beautiful. Maggie Valley area. We'll have a lot of fun. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll be there. Pop's Knife Supply will be there. There'll be a knife show. Oh crap, I gotta make a knife to take to sell. So, all right. See here, you can hear the air now? That was better. I like that way better. All right, so we'll make a dagger. Let me go get a dagger already made. You wanna come with me?
Sure.
Want me to tell you what to do? All right, come with me. We'll go look in my drawer. You guys want to look at my drawers? We can look at my drawers and find a dagger. This is the stash of koa. If you guys want to see, I got a little stash. That is actually Tasmanian blackwood, but they're both black acacia. I got a dagger in here. I got a dagger in here. Oh, there's some knives I gotta ship out in here. Okay, so this is a dagger that I designed. It's based off the Fairbairn Sykes dagger, and I'm sure I said that wrong, but I made a more robust one, and also this one has an insulated handle, which I actually have a patent on, but that didn't matter. So this was a prototype I made at Winkler Knives, but I think I want to make a robust version of it. Let's just make a bigger, more robust kind of Conan the Barbarian dagger, I'm thinking. I think that'd be great. Do you think that'd be great?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Wood. This is from Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist. If you want some really awesome stabilized wood, Mad Scientist knife skills. If you look up Mad Scientist Stabilized Wood on Instagram, you'll see his page. He's got the most thoroughly dyed, thoroughly stabilized, and that's good stuff. This is some other good stuff, and I like this also. This is really well stabilized. That might be the biggest block of African blackwood you've ever seen. This is my stash of special wood, you know. All right, can't get back. It's like Tetris, playing Tetris. Anything else we got in here good to see? Oh, these will be available through Tactical Elements one day when I get them done. Don't let AJ see that part. Ooh, you guys want to see an old chef's knife I made? We got to do something while that's heating up, okay? I'll show you this. This is one I've got to finish. This belongs to Robert. So this is one of my early chef's knives. I made this back in, man, 2007 probably. And he used it thoroughly, so it's a little rusty. But it's just ground to zero. It has an octagonal shaped handle with a guard. Excuse me, it's a little thick, but he wanted it that way because he does a lot of barbecue, and instead of having a cleaver, there's not a lot of rock on it, but I think it works. It still works pretty good, and he's happy with it. So I'm going to refinish that and get that back to Robert, and hopefully I won't keep forgetting about it in that case. All right, what else? Oh, this is a cool thing. I think I want to use this Tiffany blue on some. This Tiffany blue G10. That's from Pop's Knife Supply. If you guys ever want to get some of that, that's really cool stuff. And that's about all I got to show for right now. That's any of the coolness factor. Now what else? Mill bits, name, junk. All right. Let's draw this thing out. Let me get something that I can draw on. Can you come in here? Is that? I'll bring the paper in there. Just hang tight. Hang tight. We'll sketch out a dagger and we'll make a, I want to kind of make a little skinny dagger, but I also feel like maybe we'll make something more robust. Find a place to put this thing. No, I know you're going wherever I'm going. I'm messing with you, Heath. I need a pencil. That looks like a pencil. So you don't need safety glasses. You don't need safety glasses to draw with, so I'll put them on my head. So two different ideas here. We could make a double-edged big crazy dagger, or we could make a double-edged small spindly dagger. So I'll do a quick survey. If you guys are paying attention, I'd like your feedback right now so I can decide which kind I should make. Should I make, I'll draw them, I guess. So let's make, kind of like that Fairbairn dagger. Fairbairn. I don't know how to say it exactly, but probably don't have time to do but forge it out, so let's see, how should this handle go out here? So this would be one idea here, just a quick sketch. This could change when you're sketching stuff, when you're just working on ideas. Just sketch them out fast. I'm not telling you, you can do whatever you want to do. I just usually sketch them out fast and then I refine it. It's like I develop it. If a design was to evolve, that means it'd go from being a knife into a shovel. But if it's to be developed, it would go from a half-assed drawing into something a little more refined and better looking. So that's my, those are definitions. You can look them up. I'm just trying to make the most amount of sense when I'm sharing, and that's all I'm doing. I'm just sharing ideas here. So this could be one. This is one idea, like a dagger that you could, I don't know. I mean, it'd be fun to take this to like a dinner. You know what I mean? Like you're going to go eat with your friends and you're having steak and you just pull that out and start cutting your steak with it. That would be fun. Or a dagger like, maybe more of a dagger. Maybe we make a bigger dagger. Let's just draw. Let's draw this idea all the way through. It's a little too pointy for me. I'm gonna add to this. Add some more lines. Make another point out here. Add some more. So this one be more robust, or like Viking-like, if there was even such a thing. There's a total anachronism. Total. I don't know any real examples of a double-edged, steel dagger from this era. This is fantasy, this is just making up a crazy one that would be fun to make. A big dagger with a wide blade. Maybe not that wide. We'll make the point like this so it has more reinforced on the point. Maybe set it up so we could do a fuller in it. So be fuller. Hey, is there any fine tip Sharpies over there, Shell? So this would be a forged blade like that, and then we draw the tang down. This would be a project where it'd be a hidden tang more than likely. That way a guard could be put on it. Guard. Boy. Anvil doesn't make a good table. And if I catch you sitting on it, I have to boot you off. This is a no sitting spot. And oh, thanks. So this is just the idea here, right? For now, whether it gets made or not, we don't know. We're just playing with concepts, so I can get you guys to give me some feedback and say, oh, that would be crazy, or no, don't do it, or whatever. So very Viking-esque, I guess you could say. That's so crooked. My drawing is crooked, it's so crooked. All right, we're getting hot enough to get busy. So what's the feedback say?
I want you to make a big dagger, so I think you're on the right path.
So I could do like a combination of both. I'm just going to ink this in just a bit. If you buy a box of these Sharpies, especially this kind, get a whole box of them. Get one out, throw the rest in the garbage can, and then you won't lose that one. And if you have a whole box and you keep using them, you'll lose every single one of them until they're all gone. And that's the only way you can keep a hold of one of them. Yeah. That one doesn't work. Let's take this one. All right. Threw that one away. We'll go to this one. Oh. All right, we're going to skip that step. Since neither one of those work, the tips are all broke off. I got a bad habit of drawing on them with a draw on steel that has scale all over it with that. So I'm not happy with this shape. So maybe we do something kind of like this, but bigger, like a in between. Yeah, in between. You can see the drawing. It's not a wonderful drawing. I mean, I'm sketching on an anvil, so cut me some slack. All right. All right. I got an idea. We'll do that. So the first thing, and this could go anywhere. Some steel, This is 80 CRV2, 2 inches wide. Dun, 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 dun. I'm gonna go get some coffee. Boom, 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 boom. Is the sound working? All right, so where's everybody watching from? Can they put in? You guys tell me where you're watching from. Where are you? What country or state are you in?
Somebody donated. EV Knives donated $2.
All right. EV Knives, thank you. Thank you for supporting.
Extra thick with 6 C's with the fuller, so they want you to make the big guy.
Oh, a cinquadilla? Cinquadilla? I don't want to make a cinquadilla. It's a cool dagger. It is cool. A cinquadilla is kind of a thing there. I'm pretty sure they're Italian primarily, and I've seen some examples of them in a museum. Very interesting piece. They're cinquadillas, 5 fingers wide, so it'd be 4 fingers and a thumb wide. Or maybe there were people who had 5 fingers and a thumb. I hope not. Really cool. The idea of fullers, you see something like that with the fullers. Fullers reduce weight. We've probably been calling them blood groove ever since World War II, but I can promise you that it doesn't work the way you think it works. What it does is it reduces weight, and it takes a thin piece of steel and it makes it more stiff because it increases the surface area, so it makes it stiffer. So we'll
donated $5 for your Sharpie fund.
All right, Rob Huff. Where's Rob Huff from?
Don't know yet.
Thanks, Rob. Sharpie fund will be replenished today. You know what? I hate drinking this coffee. Every time I get one, I'm just like, why am I getting? I'm not going to let you see where it's from, but I'm sure you can guess. It is the worst coffee that there is. You know what? We should contact.
Brad Mallett.
Yeah, Brad. No, the guy from Black Rifle. We're friends on Instagram. Comrades, I guess you could say, friends. You should contact him. I wouldn't mind. Black Rifle is actually good coffee. What's cool is you watch videos and he's out there. They out there and they're drying the beans in the sun. He's out there working on it too, which is really cool. It's a very impressive company. It's hard to take a company and out of nothing and build it into something that everybody can understand. All right, so I think what we'll do is we'll make a bigger kind of dagger, and I'm really gonna struggle with this for a minute, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna set this aside. All right, let's turn the hammer on. All right, turn the dryer on. I gotta turn the dryer on. Well, that is quiet. That means it must be broken. Huh. That thing finally, what's funny? It finally just shook itself into place. I got a dryer. Normally we cut a dryer and it's... So if anyone saw the video that we posted, the philosophizing, what do we call that video, Matt? My philosophy?
Something like that. Knife talk.
Can we pan over here to Matt for a minute? So Matt Cohen is the cameraman, and you would like to figure out how he was filming that while being in the background, swinging around the PVC pipe. I bet you'd like to figure out how he did that. All right, glasses, check. Steel, check. All right. feel like I could do this. All right, there we go. Dagger, we're done. Y'all have a great day. All right. I'm gonna get more daggery here. I'm thinking about making it an integral dagger. Let me see. All right, that's stable. I need some hammers that I can't find. Why can't I ever find that little Shelby hammer? I gotta find this one hammer. Got that hammer. Okay. All right, I gotta go look over here. I'm looking for a special hammer. This is what I should have used on the knife in the 5-hour challenge. And also, the 5-hour challenge has been completed. Oh, the 4-hour challenge. Yeah, that's right. Thanks for reminding me. And we did it in less than 4 hours. 4-hour challenge in less than 4 hours. It was done. John Carew. John Carew leaves in 3 weeks for his 7th deployment. Oh man. So we want to give a shout out to John. All right. Oh man. Think about all your friends or family or people you know that get deployed overseas, and they need a lot of prayers, a lot of support, as that's a very difficult job, going somewhere and not knowing if you're ever coming back. All right. That's going to be a big one. All right. So that's how big it's going to be. It's probably bigger than I intended. So it'll be like this dagger, but longer. It'll be more sleek. Like that's kind of a clunker, really. Like I would totally refine that to make it more pointy. So we'll make it more like this. It'll be like kind of a short sword almost. So we may as well make an integral guard, but I'm really having a hard time. Oh, there it is. This is the hammer of Mihailovich. Yeah. Shelby Mihailovich made that hammer. That is what we'll use to get the little ears down. Not that. We'll bang on it with that. Okay. I am going to... What's up, Britt Barnes? All right, see you. Hope to see you in a couple weeks at the Hammer Inn, Waynesville. What is it called technically? I mean, I have it on my
Great Smoky Mountain.
the Great Smoky Mountain Hammer Inn. I'm going to give a shout out to Jeremy Ritchie and his whole family. All right. I just turned the back burner off for a second and just let the front burner on because I'm getting, I got to make sure I do this in the direction that I want it to work. And this is a tricky forging, so you might get to see me screw up. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom. All right, got that part. Preform is always important with this. This is going to be tricky, but I think we'll pull it off. It's just getting way longer than I wanted it to be. Bobby Norton is using his chef's knife to prepare a meal for 50 people. All right, Bobby Norton, that's cool. I like to see that. I always like it when I hear people, they get one of my chef's knives and they're using it and they're enjoying it, and it's the one that doesn't fail. It stays sharp, they keep using it, they keep enjoying it. So that's important to me. All right, we're gonna go back and turn the heat all the way up. Man, this is gonna be rough. Maybe I bit off more than I can chew. Get rid of my shirt. When will the shirts be able to be gotten? 2 weeks? Oh, next week you'll be able to get your Be a Maker shirt. There's a whole lot of them on there. The Tiger Lily Smithy shirt, Be a Maker shirt, the Kukri Club shirt, all those will be available in about 2 weeks. And we'll have them at Blade Show too. We're going to be bringing shirts to the Blade Show. All right. Man, I really got myself in trouble today. This is a big knife. All right. So still getting it flat, drinking this nasty coffee. gonna go curvy everywhere, but I'm gonna work on this thing anyway. So when is the 4-hour challenge going to be?
Next week.
Next week. Oh, okay. There's a lot of editing on something when you. So I think we had originally at a point we thought about having all 4 hours, but it's a lot of looking at. So what we decided to do was do time checks, so you can see that I actually did it on time. You know, we showed the times, and it was fun. I thought I was going to do it in less than that time. But. So the other thing too, you guys get to watch snippets of this process here. But if you would like to see the idea, besides like beginning to forge, what you need to use, how you do it from the beginning to the end, how you shape the handle, how you harden the blade, how you make it sharp, the Forged series is available to you. It is a web-based series. All you have to do is follow the links off of my YouTube or my Instagram page, and you can get the Forged series. You can watch it anytime you want. Essentially, you own it. It's just like when you go to Netflix and you buy a movie, it's yours now. Same thing with the Forged series. You buy the Forged series, it's yours. You can watch it backwards, forwards, up, you know, any way you want to, whenever you'd like to watch it. So get the Forged series and support your local bladesmith. Even if I'm not local. I'm on Earth, so that's local enough. Now, what do I do now? I want to tune this preform up a little bit more. I set these little ears up because I thought that's what I wanted to do. And as I continue to go this way, it's not really what I wanted to do, because this is way more than a dagger now. This is about 12 inches of pokiness, so I would almost consider that a short sword. All right, let's go back here. Smooth this out. Trying to decide if I want to leave these in here or not. I haven't decided that yet. I think I'm going to thin them out because I have changed my mind a little bit, so I'm going to bring these back a little bit more. All right, you guys, if you want to get your question answered, because we have many questions just rolling through as we're going through there, and it's hard to see them. So for enable us to see them, use the super chat feature, and then that way we can see, get to your question, and make sure we get it answered if possible. Okay, so I want to help, I want to share, and I want to enlighten and entertain you. So I want to answer your question if possible, but you need to use the super chat feature. That way we can see it. I'm going to blend these back a little bit because I don't like the way they look. And if you start something and you don't like it, change it. Don't be stuck with a thing. All right, I like that better. I like that better. Better, okay. That I like better. Now I'll start doing something else. I'm going to change something else here on it too. And then we're going to get into it. Find the right tongs. Dun, 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 dun. So, where are those flat jaw tongs? You need these?
No.
All right, I'll be using a hammer. I'm gonna be, you wanna come in and shoot in here if you want to, then you can see the detail. This is a lot of blade right here. What was I thinking? be careful with the tip because I don't want to make that tip real thin. That tip needs to be, if you're looking at a cross section, it's way thicker than you can imagine. So the edge, the cross section on the edges are going to be like this, but the tip is going to be more like, like squared off, like a diamond almost, because the idea is that it pokes holes and stuff. Do the other side. When I'm grinding something hot, I always like to use that rest, because that way I don't have to worry about holding everything. You know, I'm going to hold the blade as much as I can, but if I want to grind something while it's still hot, I really like using that rest. Slide this in. That was painful. Okay. All right, that way if I need to use that, now it's available. Steel's ready to forge. I'm gonna go on this side now. I'm gonna forge this side. Very carefully. All right. Not looking too bad. Work the other side. Work back and forth until you get it. Daggers are simple. It's just two sides instead of one. I think sometimes making something symmetrical is a lot easier than making something asymmetrical, because we want to see everything in symmetry. You know, we want to see that, so it's something natural. So when we make a thing like, you know, I make a lot of times, they're not symmetrical, they're asymmetrical, meaning they're not the same on both sides. It's a little trickier. Symmetry is easier to follow, believe it or not. This is harder to follow. This is a ridiculous size knife. This is a huge chopper. All right, something about fire control on a gas forge is once you start getting a heavy shape, the serious metal moved out of the way, you can turn it down a little bit. It's actually kind of too hot, so I don't need all that heat. I'm gonna turn it down just a bit. I don't really need to work. As the thinner I get, the less of that heat that I really need. Now I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna go over here and straighten this thing out a bit. We got some twisties in it. We want to get the twisties out. See what I gotta do? Bobby Norton. Thank you, Bobby Norton, for the super chat donation of $5. I don't know if this will be available for sale or not. You know, I forge a lot of knives, and sometimes those knives just remain as forgings. I actually have a lot of knives that are forged, ground, heat treated, and even have handles sitting on them, but they're not finished. So I make way more knives right now than I made when I lived in South Carolina, but I may not offer that many for sale. It's I explained a little bit on that other video. I kind of feel like I'm in this, you know, I'm doing a lot of sketches right now, and sometimes these knives are sketches. Now, if I really look at them like, man, I really want to finish that thing, then I'll get into it and I will finish it. And this one I may or may not do. But right now, I'm not sure. I like the idea of finishing it. I like where it's going so far. So we'll just have to see. You know, it's possible, but I'm not making any promises about that. Yeah, we don't want it to stay curvy like that. About to get the edge thickness that I want. I'm gonna go back to the other side. The idea is to forge this, all the rough forging, but you don't want to. I don't want to over forge this piece because I want to grind it all nice and clean. So there's a little bit of room I need to take for error or over forging, which I'm getting already. You know, if we have time today, I'll kind of show you how you deal with that. All right. Forge this side. All right. Yeah, I really don't want to get it too thin out there. Sometimes it's better when you're forging something like this because of the way that the tip needs to be designed. May not be wisest to actually make it pointy, but leave that space out there more rounded, more open, so you can grind it in where exactly it needs to be. Daggers and a lot of European, you know, swords, the tip is thicker. And really older daggers, like Quillian daggers and stuff, the tip is a little thicker because it's designed, that's where the cut's from. That's where daggers cut from. They're really not, you know, daggers aren't designed to cut this way so much as they are to be poking holes like through a chink in the armor or something. I don't know, because we're not walking around wearing armor like that anymore, so we don't really, you know, we don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of people study that. I think it's fascinating. I gotta move this some. I'm gonna work over here, take this hammer. I'm gonna fix this a little bit. So the closer I get, the more warpy this thing does get. So. Now, start tuning it up. So what I want to do now is get it all straight and even. I learned this is not anything like what I drew. But it's fun. So what I'll do, how deep are we in?
45 minutes.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's taking a while. It's taking longer than I thought. You know, originally I thought about just grinding at barong or something today. I could still do that.
Never finished one.
Yeah, I want to, but I'm kind of like, So now is where I want to do a lot more tuning, you know. That's what I really want to. Planishing, not much heat in there, but I definitely want to do some planishing on that. So what I'm going to be looking for now is the uniform edge thickness, and I'll start smoothing it out a little bit. I think I'm happy with using this knife, this hammer. I was going to say knife, but it's not a knife. Maybe this heavy one. I'll use it. Sometimes heavier hammer. So I'll explain real quick. Heavier hammer actually is easier to use. You don't have to, you just drop it. You're just letting it fall. Smoothing. Smoothing is tricky at best. Alright. It is kind of cool to make curvy daggers too, you know. Dagger doesn't have to be symmetrical and straight. A lot of daggers can be curved. A lot of daggers are curved. Especially the daggers from India all the way through the Middle East. A lot of really beautiful examples of curved daggers. How we doing?
Yep. 200.
Y'all enjoying this? I hope this is something you want to see. Sometimes it's nice to kind of get some feedback and say, hey, we'd like to see this. I think there's a lot of great movie swords and TV swords, and my friend Matt Stagmeyer and all those guys, they've done an awesome job at doing that. Man at Arms, if you guys want to see that, that's a great series you can watch. They make everything. They make Finn sword, Preston seal, 10 pounds. 10 pounds is more than $10. Just want you to know. Thank you, Preston. Very cool. Very, very nice. All right. Go back. Same thing over here. You don't have to hit it hard. You just have to hit it accurately. I don't want to lose this. I really want it to remain stout out here. Probably the better way to leave it more stout in a forging. Not worrying so much about making it pointy. If you look at some of Peter Johnson's work, he's really studied how that tip is supposed to be. And so there's a lot of great examples of how that's supposed to really be. And that's what we're going for. All right. Some planishing, more and more planishing now. I'll use the hammer a little bit, the big hammer. If I can find my little tongs. I can't. Tongs, 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 right there in front of my face. Okay. Yes, Preston, I have tried the W2 from New Jersey Steel Baron. It is good steel. It is not the same as what we call the old school W2. The reason it's different is because the old W2 that you may find out of, that some of it was made by Ford, they used it for axles at one time, a long time ago. It's because that was steel that was, the raw materials were dug up out of the ground, and that old school W2 was made out of raw materials. A lot of this steel that we have today in America is recycled, so it tends to have a little higher sulfur content and some other things in it. Now, is it good steel? It is good steel, but the chemistry of this W2 from New Jersey Steel Baron and the chemistry of the old W2 are different. They are slightly different. The reason to use it is not for a hamon. Use it because it has vanadium in it, but also you can get 80 CRV2 from New Jersey Steel Baron, and that has vanadium in it also. There's reasons to use steel, and that's one of those things. You do some research, but don't be an idealist. I could make a knife out of any of those steels, and let's just say it was a kitchen knife, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You wouldn't know what they were made out of. But it is good stuff. It is something, you know what it is, but it is not exactly the same. So it's slightly different. So all I'm doing with the big hammer now is I'm planishing. So I'm using lighter blows, lower temperatures to get a nice even finish on the steel. I'm not sure why I put those ears on, and at first I was thinking I had enough room to pull out for a guard, but I realized rapidly that I didn't do that right. You have to leave it thicker, so if you ever do that, you see an isolation. I really needed more steel to make that isolation so I could pull them out, and I didn't have that, so that was a fail on my part. So I decided to put them as that part of the blade to be wider. All right, now I'm going to go back and do this side. Funny, I did exactly what I said don't do. Exactly what I said don't do. All right, I'll go back, tune up. Tuning up, profile. All right, now I'm gonna fix that part out there. Whew. Hope that answered that question. Why am I using different hammers? No real reason. I just want to see if one works better for this application than the other one. So I'll go back and forth sometimes. Sometimes I like one hammer for a thing and I like another hammer for a different thing. So what I'm gonna have to do after this is really lay the pattern out. So one thing, if you don't support the others, like if I hit it here, I'm just going to bend it over. I want it supported so I can hit it accurately. So now we're getting better into shape. I'll go back and clean up a little bit more smoothing now. And then we'll cut off and do the tang. It's important to understand how a tang works on something like this. It's essentially going to be a hidden full tang. That means that it's not a full tang in the sense as you can see the steel, but the steel is right there underneath. So two pieces of wood would go on it, and then it would be wrapped with leather. The guard on this would be hot fit, the pommel would be hot fit. Just straightening it out and planishing it. Make sure it's straight. Looks pretty straight. Pretty straight. I think it's straight. Might be straight. Okay. bit of straightening there. Preston, what is superior, Wootz Damascus or Japanese bloom? There is zero answer for that question. I apologize, because that is not one that actually can be answered. What is superior? One is crucible, made in a crucible, and one is made by taking the steel and refining it, by folding and evening out the carbon content. So there's no, I don't know if there's one superior to the other one. All I do know is that the Japanese tradition of making tamagami has never ended. They continued that tradition from whenever they began making swords until this very day. That line has never been broken. That's why I think it's the most popular sword in the world. They're beautiful, it's a great art. Wootz is another one. It's very mysterious in what it is. Yes, there are people who can make Wootz. I'm not one of them. So it's not really a question that I can answer. It's one of those things. It's like, which one's superior? Well, according to what? That's a good question, but what are we making it relative to? Relative to what? Which one is prettier? Which one's more durable? The only way that question would be answered is to put two blades, manufacture two blades and then put them to work. And what work would you use? What would you test them on? Tomatoes and chickens and, food prep, or would they be tested in, some situation that we can't actually have any longer? So it's one of those technological questions for an ancient time that we don't exist in anymore. But they do test these steels in metallurgical laboratories, and I think there are some examples of that. So they'll make some steel, they'll make Wootz, and they'll make tamagami, and they'll put it under how many PSI will it do. But they don't do tests, that I know of, of how well does it cut through however many. I don't know. That's a great question, but unfortunately, I'm not able to answer that question. That's just not one I can't answer it, because I don't really have any reference point for it. I don't really know what it would be relative to. Modern steels are engineered and calculated, and in many ways far more precise and even superior than the ancient steels. And I know sometimes people will be like, what? What would cut better than Wootz, or what would cut better than tamagami? Well, there's a lot of factors that must be entered into that equation. That would be, the steel, the heat treat, the edge geometry, what is the intended purpose of that blade? So there's not one thing that can determine if something is superior or inferior. Now I'm gonna cut that handle off and make my tang. There's just not one thing. You can't. There's no way you can calculate it. It's a combination of multiples. You have to calculate many things to come up with that answer. So I hope that kind of helps answer the question, but it's like the age-old question, like which steel is better, this one or this one? Well, it really depends on many, many, many circumstances. That steel is better as, what's it relative to? What's the purpose of it? What's the intention of the piece, The truth is about swords, we don't use swords. We don't have a sword use culture, really. I'm sure someone out there will argue, oh yes they do, they use it, okay great. Well, not where we are. We don't have a relative point of view for swords. So I'm gonna introduce my team. Matt Cohen, cameraman, Ryan Shipley, brains. Hold on, I'm sorry. What was your name again? I know it's Heath. I'm just kidding. Heath, but I don't know your last name, Heath. Heath? Ratliff? Yep. So I pick on Heath all the time, and hopefully you see some videos where I'm really intensely picking on him. And Shelly Knight, that's my wife. So that's a discussion, you know, that whole thing. I can't stop thinking about it here for a minute, because it's like, which steel is better, 80 CRV2 or 52-100? Better for what? Better in what application? Better in what circumstance? Because the better of them is so close, it's almost not possible to see. So you'd have to do this. Let's just say I made a knife out of Woots. I made a knife, and whatever Woots, you know that Woots is actually relative to the individual making. There's a video where Al Pindre is making Woots out of some iron ore that came from Jordan. And it's pretty interesting. So let's just say we take that Woots and we take some Tamahagane that Yoshindo Yoshihara's team made for, you know, they made this for his sword and make a blade out of it. And we take some modern 52-100 and some of the old school W2, and we each make a blade. The blades are all exactly the same. They have the same edge geometry, the same shape. All are hardened to be, you know, all hardened and tempered perfectly. They're all 61 Rockwell. They're all exactly the same. There's no difference in between any of them. And then you test them. Test them how, you know, however they need to be tested, whatever that media is. But the testing would preferably done by a machine. Spyderco has a machine that tests sharpness. I know that because I saw it. I know some makers who have sent knives to have them tested. So that would be one thing. It need to be a uniform test media to say which one cuts the best, holds an edge the longest, is the toughest, resists deformation, that would be strength, all these things, and then calculate it. And I'm going to think that the differences are not extreme. The differences are probably very close. They're not off but a couple percentages. It wouldn't be like 20% different or 30% different. I don't think they would be. I could be wrong because I don't know. I haven't, you know, it's like unknowns. There's a lot of unknowns, and that's a great thing. Someone could go out there and test all these things. That would be really nice if someone really wanted to. And maybe someone already has. I just don't know about it. I'm sorry, Heath. You know, that was just one more opportunity for me to mess with you, and I had to take it upon myself to do so. Sure, I'll be getting the payback for that one day. So, hope this is making some sense. It makes sense to me, so whether it makes sense to you or not, that may be your problem, not mine. I'll let you solve that one. That's nice. Probably be grinding them little ears off. I don't think I like those too much. I see something I do need to shift over to make this work better. So I'm going to find the tools to do that. Nope. Maybe we could open the door. Tongs that I can't find. Spent a lot of time looking around at tongs. Yeah, that side is. Yeah, I want to move that center over just a bit. And I can use those later. Use these now. That is about right, except for the one part. Fix that. All right. I will grind in the fuller. So a lot of really ancient blades, because of the nature of high carbon steel, trying to forge in a clean and smooth fuller is difficult at best. I've done it really well with smaller dies on the hammer. You know, if the dies are more extreme, it's easy to put that fuller in and then pull the blade away from it at that point, or in the press, making some smaller ones, and then you can go back and grind it and clean it. But the best results I've found are from grinding them in. So grinding them in is kind of the best result I've found on these. You can do either way. I don't think it's wrong to do either way. All right. One more part. I want to straighten the blade out now. This will be tricky. Tricky! The tongs I like, I can't find them. Where would they be? Oh, I bet they're on top of... Nope. Man. Oh, there they are. Right on the ground where I threw them. Hope y'all are enjoying this. I gotta move that. My center line is a little bit more forged on one side than the other, and now I can see it. So I'm gonna just give it a little bit of a tune up. Tuning up. This and this. 2 tongs. Tongs for each hand. Now, how do I really want to do this? Like this? little ears throw me way off. I probably shouldn't have done those. So, if you guys are making Damascus, the steel that gets darker, so if you use 15N20, which is a steel that has 2%, maybe more than 2% nickel, and you're using another steel like 1084 or 1095 or 80 CRV2, the 15N20 is the steel that will resist etching. So that'll be the shiny steel, okay? That'll be the shiny stuff. The other steel will be darker. Sometimes they're both the same colors, but one of them is going to etch faster than the other one. And usually it's the steel that has no nickel in it. Adding manganese to it causes a multitude of problems, even though it might make it darker. Watch out. Watch out! Man, I just got this part here I just don't like. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cheat big time. I gotta take these ears off. They're really messing me up. It's not what I wanted to do, but I'm gonna do it. Knives. So what that allows me to do is get those pieces that I overforged. I have parts that I overforged and they're thinner, so that's making it difficult for me to see. They're too thin to hammer back in. So what I did is now I can see uniformity on the thickness, so I can change some things. Hey, Mike Roberts, what's up? Lucky Devil Knives. Hope we go ride motorcycles soon. The weather's getting nice. So I got this part I really hate, but I'm gonna try and fix it. But I have to find the right tongs, and so far all the ones that I'm grabbing are kinda not right for this application. Let's see if these are. Wrong. Ooh, these might be right. These are wolf. These are called wolf jaw. These are pretty good for that. Possibly. Quite possibly. All right. So I don't like something here. And it's keeping me from seeing the shape that I really want. So I have to take it out so I can go forward. If I don't take it out, then I can't really keep going in the direction I want to go. So I'm going to take those out. All right. Still the wrong tongs. It's really hard to find the right ones either. Probably as good as I'm gonna get. Maybe these. Maybe these, maybe these. try that. Try this. See where it goes. Basically what I'm doing here is planishing. All right, that's better what I want back there. A lot more uniform. I like that. And now I can go back and tune it up some. That anvil's too stinky to work on. Hey, Ben Toombs, thank you for being a moderator. Ben's my guest moderator today, and I just appreciate the moderators. They kind of help organize what's going on behind the scenes and in the cloud or in within the computer realm. So I really appreciate them being here. This is a massive production, really. I mean, it takes a lot of people. We have me and 4 other crew members to make this work right now. Plus, we go back and do, we don't edit this part, do we? No, we don't edit it. So I gotta watch what I say. And then we have all the moderators and all the other people who help, and so supporting all of you all who are taking a part in Super Chat and asking questions and being involved and watching and supporting every week. So I appreciate it. Now, I wanna clean that area. I like that better. Much better. Now I have more even amount of material on both sides, more uniform thickness on both sides, because I took those little ears off. Now the only thing I did that's weird is I had to straighten the tang out a little bit, so that's not a big deal. I'm not drinking any more lattes. No, it just makes me feel aggravated. Like when I'm in good shape, coffee makes me feel agitated, and I can feel that right now. I feel super agitated. That's why I never drink it after 3 o'clock. I'll be like, maybe springtime just kicked in, because I'm like, coffee makes me aggravated. All right, I'm liking this way better. So that's one thing. Don't let anyone tell you that that's wrong. To grind off the part so you can get back where you're supposed to be. You can grind it off, file it off. What's the difference? What's the difference between using a file and a grinder? One's just faster. If you want to do this real traditionally, go out and make your own steel. Don't use a grinder. It's like, I'm not saying anyone's commented on that, but it's just some of the funny things about what is tradition. What tradition are we talking about? Tradition that no one's ever seen. No one has ever seen a living 12th century swordsmith. Nobody has ever seen one actually working. Oh yeah. So Josh Smith is going to have the ultimate hammer in the universe. It's going to be in Frenchtown, Montana. And if you are fortunate and you get your name in there and you get it covered, you might be able to get there. But it's going to be the best hammer in that has ever existed on the face of the earth, and that's a fact. I'm glad he's doing them again. I'm glad I can be part of it. And we'll be driving out there, because we're crazy like that. Drive all the way across the country to go sweat it out in the hot Montana sun, right? This is a lot more what I want. Probably more time spent doing this. The truth is, I don't make daggers all the time. I don't make these things all the time, but it is fun to make them. My son Tristan is about the best I've ever seen forging out double-edged blades or very strange shapes. I took him to, when I used to teach at the ABS school in North Carolina, Tristan would come with me. He was 12. This is funny. So when he was 12, he forged this blade. 12-year-old in a coal fire. And everybody's like, who's that little kid? I'm like, I don't know. He's always here every time I come. But that's a blade he forged when he was 12. And it is, you know, it has a diamond-shaped cross-section. It's every bit a sword. You know, it just needs to be ground. You can see how good it's done, how well it is forged. He didn't use a power hammer. No power hammer was used in that. So, all right. All right. I'm pretty happy with this. Looks pretty good, pretty even. All right, fix the tang now. Tang you can see is off, but that's easy to fix. So we're gonna fix that and then maybe grind on it a little bit or forge something else. How much time we got left? However long? Well, maybe we'll forge something else because I really don't feel like grinding. Should do a motorcycle vlog one day. We just take the bikes and go ride all over the countryside. That will be fun. All right. My blade tongs. Yeah, those ears didn't do anything for me except cause me trouble. And I didn't want to. That's good. Straighten that. Make it flat. I'll show you how quick you can make this work out. So I will grind it just a little bit to show. So I like to say this forge is a chili forge. I use forge every day. If I'm not using it, someone else in our shop is using it. So we're using these every day, and they're very tough. They're very even in their temperature. They get hot enough to forge weld, and I don't think they use that much gas. So it's a great forge. It's a chili forge. If you want to get one, chiliforge.com. They have been supporting me for years, and I really, really like their forges. I haven't found one I like better yet, so I don't know if I will, because one thing that they allow me to do is give them feedback, and then they kind of improve their forges every time. I say, hey, what if it's like this, or what if it's like this? And they listen, so that's another nice thing about them. That's gonna need a squeeze. Now, is it centered? Is it centered? That's a good question. It's getting it straight and centered. Everything's lined up, so the tang and the tip are lined up. There's the same amount on both sides. I just want to make sure that I don't have like some weird thing in the steel. I want the edge to be centered in the body of the steel. The tricky part. I probably could have made this way thicker. How fuel efficient is a chili forge? Well, if you use a 100-pound tank, a 100-pound fuel tank, which is about 25 or 26 gallons of propane, if you're forge welding, it'll last for 8 or 10 hours. If you're just forging, it'll last you a long time. You don't want to know what my propane bill is, because we're running these all the time. We're running these all the time. So it's the most efficient one. That's all I can say. The most efficient one I've used. I had other ones, NC Tool Forge. They're not bad. You know, they all kind of about the same. I mean, there's some of them that just literally waste fuel, but they tend to be like a forced air forge. A forced air forge will waste fuel unless you got a ribbon burner on it. So that edge is centered. I can see that. This side, the edge is centered. You can see that. All right. So what I'm looking for is the edge being centered in the mass, in the body of the blade, you know, the thin part, the center. The edge is center relative to the edge is, shoot. The edge is in the center of the mass of the blade. The mass being the central part of the blade, that's the thickest part. So the edge is, you know, if I'm looking at this way and this way, it's right on the money. On that end, we're gonna make sure it is on the other end too. Great way to straighten blades is in a leg vise. Just enough to straighten, not too much. Don't take too much. Okay, just a little bit. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, so show you how very little we're going to grind off here. Very, very little amount of grinding. Okay. So I took off less than a 1/16 of an inch, except for back where the ears are. Should have left it a little thicker than that even, I think. But it'll work. I really prefer doing daggers. It's a lot of work and a lot of grinding. I really prefer to do them in demand. With this one, you know, and I mean primitive, like some ancient Celtic thing. Maybe I'll do leather on it or something. Maybe I'll make it a big version of a Fairbairn dagger. That might be kind of fun. This is the sacks we did last week. It's almost the same size. Propane versus coal versus coke versus charcoal. Where I live, the easiest and the cleanest fuel to get is propane. The learning curve is very short on it. You turn it on, you adjust how much propane you need, and you forge. With coal and coke, coke is already coked up coal, so it's different. So green coal sticks all together, and it is an art to using those. And I learned how to forge with green coal and coke. I spent many years using that and teaching with it. And I don't find it the most efficient way for forging blades. That's why I use propane. You gotta wanna use it to use it. It's not like one's more expensive or less expensive than the other one. You know, there's returns and benefits. If you really wanna use coal or coke, use it. If I'm gonna use natural fuels like that, my favorite is charcoal. Charcoal is very nice, but you have to make it or spend a lot of money buying it if you live in America. If you live down in South or Central America and different places, charcoal is pretty cheap. You can get a giant bag. In Nicaragua, we bought a bag this tall and that big around. It was $5. And it's great. You don't have to do anything. Just put the blade in there and get it hot and forge it. There's benefits to them, but there are more benefits to using propane. It's very simple, it's very easy to get, you can buy it pretty much anywhere. So my recommendation is propane always. It's really easy to get a hold of. Whoa. So that's it, unless we can do something else. No, I don't know either.
Hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for watching today, you guys. I just want to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave your comments. I like to read them. I try to go back and read and reply to most all the comments. Man, I'm running out of brain power. I haven't eaten in a while. Also, the Forge series has every bit of information that all of you keep asking. All of that information gets answered in the Forge series. How to design, why to design. It's a lot of why, a lot more why than anything. Why you would do a certain thing and the way you do it. Whenever you hear me talk about stuff, whether I'm talking about designs or anything, I'm talking about making something that you have some reference point to go and use. So if I'm designing a knife and I say, I don't like, there's a difference between a finger choil and a finger groove. One finger groove, not too bad. But a finger choil is that space in between the guard and the blade. I don't care for that. I feel like that is a waste of space, that you can have an edge and a properly designed handle and you don't need to use that. That's my opinion. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't care. I'm not being rude about it. It's just from my experience, I don't care for using knives that way or choking up on the blade that way. But it's not an attack on anyone, so I hope you don't take it as such. I try and address these things and be accurate about it, but a lot of designs just don't work well, and I see them, and I've watched feedback, and I appreciate the commentary and the feedback you guys give me about it too. But I'm going to continue to speak my mind and share the information and hopefully be entertaining and enlightening to you. And I appreciate you all watching today. I hope you have a great week, and stay tuned because we have a lot of new episodes dropping this week on our Forged, what were we calling this? Saturday night.
Fever.
Saturday Night Live. Saturday is the day, and my name is Night, and it's live, so that's why I said that. But we didn't get a podcast in this week. The podcasts are fun. We are doing the podcast on location. Some of you are asking what platform for podcast are they on. They will be on all of them as far as I know. We're working on that. It's all a process. Every one of these things is a process. You see me, it's not just me. I'm not running the camera and editing the film and posting all this stuff. We have an entire team here to make this work. Anytime you ever watch any YouTube stuff, it takes a whole team to make the thing work. If one person can't really do it all, I don't believe they can anyway. It wouldn't be me being able to do it. So thank you for continuing to support. Thank you for your super chats, all y'all out there. And that's it. Until next time, thank you. Bye.